Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Romance Rewind Stories. Thank you so much for joining today. I'm truly grateful for every single one of you who comes here to relive these heart-fluttering, twist-filled love stories. Before diving into today's addictive romance, could you do me a quick favor? If you're loving the video, please hit that like button. It helps the channel grow so much. If you haven't already, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new rewind moment. And drop a comment below. Tell me where you're watching from today. Are you in California, New York, Texas, Florida, or maybe somewhere international? I love seeing all the places my wonderful viewers are tuning in from. All right, settle in. Today's story is pure rom-com magic. A disastrous first meeting, a shocking reveal, professional triumphs, slow burn tension, and the sweetest happily ever after imaginable. Let's begin. It was Isabella Torres's first big move. At 27, after 5 years designing user-friendly apps for a startup in Miami, she had landed the role of lead UX designer at Apex Dynamics, one of the most innovative tech companies in Chicago. The offer came with a 6-figure salary, equity, and the chance to shape products used by millions. She was both terrified and thrilled, but first she had to make it through O'Hare International Airport on a hectic Friday afternoon. Rushing to her connecting flight, Isabella slammed straight into a tall man in a charcoal suit. Her tote bag burst open. Laptop, notebook, lip gloss, and mortifyingly, a pack of pads skittered across the floor and stopped at his polished loafers. "I'm so sorry," she yelped, dropping to her knees to gather everything. He looked down with an expression that could freeze fire. Dark, wavy hair, piercing grey eyes, chiseled jaw. Ridiculously handsome, like he'd stepped out of a movie. He bent gracefully, picked up the pads with 2 fingers, as if they were radioactive, and handed them back. "You might want to watch where you're going," he said, voice smooth but laced with irritation. A faint Midwestern accent, polished and big city. "I was running because my flight—" "Because Miami people think schedules are optional," he interrupted, eyebrow arched. "Some of us actually value punctuality." Heat flooded Isabella's cheeks. "Excuse me? You don't even know me." "I know enough. South Florida types think the world runs on vibes." Isabella stood, clutching her bag. "You know what? You're exactly the kind of arrogant, entitled businessman who gives CEOs a bad name. Probably never had to work a real day in your life. Daddy's connections, right?" His lips twitched into the faintest smirk. "Bold assumption. It's not an assumption. It's an educated guess, based on that suit and that attitude." He studied her for a long moment. Grey eyes unreadable. "You really have no idea who you're talking to, do you?" "I know all I need to know. Enjoy your first-class life, Mr. Perfect." The final boarding call for Flight 492 to Chicago echoed overhead. Isabella cursed under her breath and sprinted toward the gate, leaving the infuriating stranger behind. 45 minutes later, settled into seat 22A, she finally exhaled. No sign of him. Maybe karma had made him miss the flight. "Excuse me, Ms. Torres?" A flight attendant smiled warmly. "We have a complimentary upgrade to first class for you, courtesy of the company." "Really, I didn't request." "It's been arranged. Please follow me." Isabella followed, heart racing. First class, plush seats, champagne, luxury. She sank into her new seat, feeling like she'd won the lottery. Then that voice. "Champagne, Mr. Caldwell?" She turned slowly. 2 rows ahead, raising a flute with a slow, amused smile, was the man from the airport. "Thank you," he said to the attendant, eyes locked on Isabella. "And please ask my new lead designer to join me. We have quite a bit to discuss." Her stomach plummeted. "Mr. Caldwell," she whispered. "Julian Caldwell, CEO and founder of Apex Dynamics. The man who had personally approved her hire, her new boss." He raised his glass in a mocking toast. "Welcome aboard, Ms. Torres. Looks like we're going to be working very closely." Isabella closed her eyes. Of all the people in the world, Apex Dynamics headquarters, downtown Chicago, Monday morning. Isabella stood outside the gleaming glass tower, heart pounding. 3 days to prepare the perfect apology. 3 days of stress-eating ice cream and rehearsing, "I'm so sorry I called you an arrogant jerk," in the mirror of her tiny River North sublet. "You can do this," she whispered, smoothing her blazer. "He's just a person. A ridiculously successful, handsome, powerful person who you insulted publicly, but still a person." The lobby was breathtaking. Marble floors, modern art, a waterfall wall. The receptionist smiled brightly. "Isabella Torres, welcome. I'm Mia, Mr. Caldwell's executive assistant. He's expecting you." Mia led her to the 52nd floor. The elevator ride felt endless. "Mr. Caldwell is excited to meet you in person," Mia said with a hint of amusement. "Excited. Right." Julian's office was enormous, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Lake Michigan, minimalist furniture, walls of awards. He stood by the window in a navy suit, every inch the billionaire CEO. "Ms. Torres," he said, turning, voice neutral. "Right on time. Mr. Caldwell, I owe you a huge apology." He gestured to the chair. "Sit." Isabella perched on the edge. "What I said at the airport was completely out of line. I was stressed, late, and I took it out on you. I made assumptions that weren't true, and I'm truly sorry." He leaned against his desk, arms crossed. "Tell me what you assumed. That you were some spoiled rich kid who never worked for anything. That your success came from privilege." Silence. "I grew up on the South Side," he said quietly. "My dad drove buses, my mom cleaned offices. I got into Stanford on a full ride, worked 3 jobs, started Apex with $5,000 saved from odd jobs and a lot of ramen. So no, not exactly a silver spoon." Isabella's face burned. "I had no idea." "Of course not. You saw the suit and judged." "I'm so sorry." He studied her. "Your portfolio is exceptional. Your interview was outstanding. That's why you're here. I hire based on talent, not first impressions." Relief washed over her. "You're not firing me?" "If I fired everyone who made a bad first impression, this company would be empty." "Thank you. I promise I'll prove myself." "I know you will. Welcome to Apex Dynamics, Isabella." He offered his hand. When their palms met, a tiny spark ran up her arm. She ignored it. 3 weeks later, the Nexus launch, Apex's biggest project in years, was in crisis. The client hated the interface. Isabella had 72 hours to fix it, or they'd lose a $20 million contract. She was on her 4th coffee when Julian walked through the open-plan office. "Ms. Torres," he said, stopping at her desk. "Nexus review in my office, now." Her stomach twisted. He looked tired, sleeves rolled up, hair slightly messy, somehow even more attractive. In his office, with lead engineer Marcus, Julian paced. The client CEO said the flow feels clunky and corporate. "We have until Friday." Marcus winced. "That's impossible." "Not impossible," Julian said, "just hard. Isabella, you're leading the redesign. Marcus, support her technically. Everything else is on hold." Isabella nodded, pulse racing. "I'll fix it." Julian's eyes met hers. "I know you will." The next 60 hours were brutal. Isabella and Marcus rebuilt the interface from scratch, user-centered, intuitive, elegant. They slept under desks, survived on takeout, and created something extraordinary. Late Wednesday night, Julian appeared behind them. "How's it going?" Isabella jumped. "Almost there." He leaned over her shoulder, close enough for her to smell his cologne. He clicked through the prototype. "This is brilliant," he said softly. "You didn't just fix it. You elevated it." Isabella blushed. "We did it together." Marcus had vanished, leaving a note. "You two got this. Night." Julian didn't move. "Isabella, what you pulled off is incredible." Their eyes locked. The air thickened. He reached out, gently removed a pencil from her messy bun. "You have 2 in your hair." She laughed nervously. Occupational hazard. They were inches apart. She could see flecks of blue in his grey eyes. Then his phone rang. Board emergency. The moment shattered. But something had changed. Friday morning, the client presentation was flawless. The CEO loved it. They kept the contract and tripled it to $60 million, asking Apex to handle their entire West Coast expansion. Afterward, Julian pulled Isabella into his office. "You saved us," he said. "Thank you. I just did my job." "No, you did something extraordinary." He stepped closer. "And I need to tell you something. Last night, that wasn't just professional admiration." Her heart pounded. "It wasn't? I can't stop thinking about you, about how brilliant you are, about how you challenge me. Julian, I know the rules. Workplace relationships need disclosure, but right now, I don't care about rules." He cupped her face and kissed her. Slow, deep, perfect. When they pulled apart, she whispered, "This is crazy." The best things usually are. They started dating secretly. Hidden Chicago dates, late-night talks, weekend getaways. Then came the offer, lead the West Coast expansion in Seattle for 8 months. A dream opportunity, but it meant leaving Julian. They talked for hours. "If you want it, take it," he said. "I'll wait. We'll make it work." She took the job. 8 months of video calls, weekend flights, aching to be together. When she returned as VP of Design, Julian waited in the boardroom. He dropped to one knee. "Isabella Torres, you called me an arrogant jerk in an airport 9 months ago. And that moment changed my life. Will you marry me?" Tears streaming, she said yes. They kissed in the same boardroom where it all began. And just like that, their love story rewound from chaos to forever. What do you think? Was the airport scene brutal or hilarious? Have you ever had a terrible first meeting that turned into something amazing? Drop your stories in the comments. I read every one. If you love this rewind romance, smash that, subscribe to Romance Rewind Stories, and hit the bell for more heart-melting tales. See you in the next one.